Tonight on News 5 Live, new details emerge on a deadly crash involving a stolen Maya Island airplane. Police say the decomposed body of Julio Zapata in southern Belize shows no signs of foul play. Opposition leader Shaim Barrow apologizes to the Speaker of the House. And 18 Turkish nationals busted for illegally entering Belize at the western border. These stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited postpaid plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart. It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
My Social Security. Your direct online access to all your Social Security information. 360 view of all your Social Security information. Registration services, benefits, contributions, and employer services at your fingertips. Enjoy all the new features with your My Social Security account. Register with SSB. Submission of benefit claims. Submission of contribution statements. View contribution record. Enjoy all your My Social Security feature at ssbportal.org.bz. Social Security at your fingertips.
Thank you for calling me. This is your inspection first. Once the inspection passes, we do the connection for you.
Our teams at BEL continue to serve you.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Tuesday, October 17th. I am Sabrina Daly. More details are surfacing as the investigation continues into the theft and subsequent crash of a Maya Island airplane in Placencia Village on Monday morning. As has been reported, 4 armed men accosted one of 2 KBH security guards posted at the airstrip on the peninsula before a Cessna Caravan turboprop aircraft was stolen. But seconds after liftoff, the airplane clipped a lamppost and crashed to the ground before bursting into flames, killing both pilots. Tonight, in a one-on-one interview with Commissioner of Police Chester Williams, News 5's Dwayne Moody finds out more about the investigation.
A leased Maya Island airplane valued at approximately $3 million was stolen from the Placencia airport under the cover of darkness on Monday morning. It is unclear if weather conditions or a mechanical malfunction resulted in the plane crash landing a few seconds after taking off. Inside the cockpit were 2 individuals who perished in the fire that erupted upon impact. IDs recovered suggest that they were of Argentinian and Venezuelan nationalities.
Police visited the area and they found a Maya Island airplane engulfed in flames that is right near the hub area on the Placencia Peninsula. And the fire department was called. The fire was extinguished, and after having extinguished the fire, it was learned that 2 burnt human remains were found inside the plane. Checks made on those individuals who were found inside the plane revealed a Venezuelan ID as well as one of Argentinian national.
The Belize Police Department has been in contact with international agencies as well as the Immigration and Civil Aviation departments in Belize to find out how these men got into the country, their individual profiles, and what led to the deadly crash. Commissioner of Police Chester Williams confirms that the men entered the country illegally.
We believe that both persons came in illegally because we had checked with immigration, and immigration have confirmed that there is no records to indicate that these 2 individuals came into the country through our legal port of entry. We have also made checks with our Venezuelan counterparts, and we have obtained certain information. I had put together a team of investigators comprising of major crime. We also have members of the DEA from the embassy assigned to that investigation, and they are working with the DEA counterparts in both Argentina and Venezuela to ascertain the type of activities those 2 individuals may have been involved in within the respective country. Likewise, the civil aviation is also a part of that investigation. They are looking to see what may have caused the accident.
As is believed to be the case in illicit plane landings, Compel Chester Williams says that without a doubt, Belizeans facilitated this incident. The captain of the boat had to have had knowledge of how to navigate the shallow waters in the area. Surveillance footages show that 8 men arrived in the area by boat. There was also a vehicle involved.
We still need to ascertain which Belizeans may have been in cahoots with them, because certainly they have to have had help locally. And so we're trying to establish which Belizeans may have been in cahoots with them. So the investigation is still ongoing, and we're hoping that at the conclusion, we will be able to find the answers that we need.
The security guard claimed that there were 4 armed men who accosted him, but then there were only 2 in the plane crash. So, yeah.
It is showing by the use of the surveillance footages from the airstrip that there may have been as much as 8 individuals who went there. And yes, they came in boats and vehicles. Shortly after the plane took off, the boat and the vehicle was seen speeding off from the area. Like I said, we're still trying to ascertain exactly who those persons are. And like I said, we believe that they may be Belizeans who are involved with them. It could also be that the boat came directly from Honduras or some neighboring country and went directly to that area to do what they needed to do in terms of the stealing of that aircraft. So those are things we're still looking at to get to the bottom of this investigation.
Evidence recovered from the wreckage suggests that the stolen aircraft was to be used for narco-trafficking.
All indications would indicate that that plane was being stolen to go and do a illicit run, perhaps from South America to Belize. They had extra bottles of fuel in the aircraft, which suggests that they were going on a long run. So we will see how that turns out at the end of the investigation.
As to how the men gained access to the aircraft, News 5 understands that the doors on a Cessna Caravan aircraft do not carry a lock and that the ignition on the aircraft is simply a switch.
Perhaps they might have looked at the weaknesses of the Placencia airstrip, and that's something that the local airlines would have to look into to see how best they can, along with the assistance of civil aviation, enhance security at these airstrips where planes are being left overnight. I know that the international is different, and as well as the municipal, but when it comes to the airstrip in Placencia and maybe Punta Gorda town, those are two where they might need to look at enhancing their level of security.
The transnational narcotics trade threatens national and regional security.
Yes, the police department, the Coast Guard, the BDF, and even immigration have been doing a lot to ensure that we maintain the integrity of our border areas. But again, you would know that we have very porous borders, and the maritime domain is extremely open. And so it is easy for persons to come from Honduras or Guatemala through the sea and enter into Belize. So as much as, yes, we'd want to see more security in terms of maintaining the integrity of our borders, it is going to be an extremely difficult thing for us to do.
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
Over the weekend, the decomposing body of an Orange Walk resident was discovered inside a van in Bella Vista Village in the Toledo district. Compol Chester Williams says that no foul play is suspected in the death of Julio Enriquez Zapata, but a post-mortem soon to be conducted will determine what caused his death.
At this time, we do not suspect foul play. The police did discover the body. We believe that it might be an incident of natural death. But we still have to await the post-mortem. We're hoping that the post-mortem will reveal more to us, and will be able to arrive at a definitive cause of death. But there was no signs of violence on the body, and so we do not suspect foul play at this time.
Is there anything to suggest what he was doing there? Did he live there in Bella Vista?
Well, from what I have been briefed, is that he was known to be one of those persons who consume alcohol heavily. So I don't know if that may have been a contributing factor. But like I said, I'm going to leave that for the pathologist during the postmortem to ascertain.
On Monday night, 18 Turkish nationals were intercepted out west in Banca Viejo del Carmen. They were caught on board a pickup truck after they crossed into Belize through the western border with Guatemala. Reports are that the driver escaped when the police intercepted the vehicle. Today, Commissioner of Police Chester Williams spoke briefly of the incident and the work that the Belize Police Department, as well as the Department of Immigration, has been doing to stem human trafficking.
The police and the immigration department continue to work together, looking at the whole issue of human smuggling. And I guess those persons are detained as a part thereof. I don't have much information at this time. It's just ongoing investigation being done with police and immigration. So as soon as that investigation is completed, then we'll be able to provide more to the media. The whole issue of human smuggling is multinational. It is not just Asian or Turkish or Asian. It's multinational, and we do from time to time would come across persons from all over the world, including South America, trying to go through Belize to get to the north. And so, yes, while we may be stretched thin, we do have officers working in different parts of the country with immigration and custom as a part of our multi-sectoral operations. And they have been doing a lot in terms of capturing persons who are believed to be involved in human smuggling, as well as human trafficking. So those operations are going to continue with a view to ensure that we do our utmost best to stem the whole issue of human smuggling through Belize.
He was last seen alive on October 3rd. 17-year-old Malachi Hamilton went missing from the Lake Independence area of Belize City, and his family fears that he has been murdered because of his affiliation with a street gang in that neighborhood. Today, Commissioner of Police Chester Williams told News 5 that in this missing persons case, investigators believe that the teen was abducted.
We do believe that he may have been taken and We're working on this matter as best as we can. Police have conducted many searches to try and see if we'll be able to locate the young man. We're hoping for the best, but at the same time, expect the worst. And we're going to continue working with the family to see what can be done to find him.
Coming up, opposition leader Barrow apologizes to House Speaker Woods. We'll have more details when we come back.
Hello, friends. I'm Dr. Bob Roberts with another 60-second sermon from God's Word. The Bible says that Barnabas and Paul were men that hazarded their lives, or literally risked their lives, for the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Today in the church, we have too many professors and not enough possessors. Too many who talk the talk but who do not walk the walk. Too many who have been whitewashed but not washed white. Too many who want a kind of alimony from God without any allegiance to God. Too many who are willing to take but not willing to give. Too many spiritual profiteers who are willing to serve God as long as it does not cost them anything. We need more people with the attitude of David, who said he would not offer to God that which cost him nothing. Paul and Barnabas were some of the first missionaries the church sent out, but it was not without a price or a sacrifice. They hazarded their life for the name of Jesus and sharing the gospel. During the Iraqi war in the spring of 2003, I read the story of Chris Carter, who saw an Iraqi woman on a bridge who was about to be killed. Without thought of personal safety, he left his Bradley fighting vehicle and dashed onto the bridge to bring the Iraqi woman to safety and stand guard over her with his M16A4 rifle as she was placed into an ambulance by medics to be given medical attention. God give us risk takers in the church with equal passion to share the gospel with a world on the very brink of destruction. Today's 60-second sermon has been presented by Christian Foundations of Faith in cooperation with the Baptist churches in your area.
Bye. Why long time to try call you?
Meet Alex.
Where they go on, man?
Alex signed up for a Digi1 premium bundle. He's loving it. With his free mobile plan, Alex can talk and surf on the go as much as he wants. Topping up and buying data is a thing of the past. Alex now has DigiTV. He enjoys all his games and his favorite shows, no matter if he's on the go or at home. And Alex also enjoys the fastest, most reliable home internet speeds with his DigiNet service. He is living his best life. Alex bundled. Alex is saving $70 monthly compared to purchasing these services from the other providers. Be like Alex. Sign up for your Digi1 bundle package today. Digi1. One bundle, no hassle, exceptional value.
Opposition leader Shyne Barrow has issued a formal written apology to the Speaker of the House of Representatives, 2 months after an email was sent to her that raised the ire of parliamentarians in both houses of the National Assembly. On Friday, the leader of the United Democratic Party was given until October 31st to apologize for the remarks against House Speaker Valerie Woods. While Barrow was adamant that he would not apologize for the comments, he has shifted ground on that position. Tonight, News 5's Isani Cayetano revisits the scenario that played out in the House back in August and how Barrow has subsequently arrived at an apology. Here's that story.
When the House of Representatives met on Friday, it was hard on the heels of a meeting convened by the Constitution and Foreign Affairs Committee on October 11th. The singular purpose of that session was to discuss an email sent by the Leader of the Opposition to House Speaker Valerie Woods 2 months earlier. That message was rudely brief and was interpreted as such by the presiding officer of the legislative body.
The email was sent at 6:14 yesterday from the Leader of Opposition, and it states, "Greetings. You, Madam Speaker, have exposed yourself to be a complete waste of time as Speaker of the Honorable House. You repeatedly act as a shield for the government, shamelessly misinterpreting and misapplying the standing orders to protect the Prime Minister and his government from public scrutiny and accountability."
In frustration, having only been informed the day before that the request for a no-confidence motion to be brought against Prime Minister John Briceño had been rejected, Opposition leader Shyne Barrow responded curtly. In the wake of that statement being read aloud, many in the lower and upper houses of the National Assembly took umbrage at what was said. It also prompted the Belize network of NGOs to issue a release condemning Barrow's actions. But instead of apologizing, he doubled down on his position.
When you go to the no-confidence motion, I submitted the no-confidence motion 4 days before the notice period, which is 4 days. So 8 days. Now, again, we talk about respect. We talk about authority. According to our Constitution, constitutionally, I am of a higher authority than the Speaker. It is the Prime Minister than me. The Governor General, that is a figurehead. But according to the Constitution, that is the authority that I have. So when the Leader of the Opposition or any member of the House, but if we want to specify as to authority and who should get the reverence, if the Leader of the Opposition submits a no-confidence motion way days ahead, you really think that it is respectful, that it is responsible to respond to the Leader of the Opposition in the negative the night before the sitting of the House?
After impulsively declaring that his UDP colleague had crossed the floor last week when he opted to draw distance from Barrow's seemingly offensive remarks, the Leader of the Opposition is walking it all back. He is also apologizing to Woods ahead of the October 31st deadline that he had been given. Earlier today, a letter was sent to the Speaker of the House. It reads as follows: "I write in a spirit of a reset to offer my apologies for the offense you took to my email on August 10th. It is regrettable that the valid complaints raised in my email have been hijacked by the PUP members of the House to serve their partisan agenda to distract the Belizean people from their failed government that has inflicted the most punishment on our citizens with heartless, hawkish policies."
The recommendation is for an apology. But what does it mean when one gives an apology? This might help the Leader of the Opposition, Mr. Speaker. Hopefully it does. It says, apology helps us to move past our anger and prevents us from being stuck in the past. One of the reasons to give an apology. Offering an apology implies that they have harmed another person in some way which can elicit feelings of shame. So we understand. We are human beings. We make mistakes. You have to acknowledge your mistake.
In his statement expressing remorse, Barrow writes, quote, "I have the highest respect for the institution of Parliament and the office of the Speaker. However, it is when there is a feeling that there is a lack of reciprocity in reverence for the office of the leader and his opposition members, then trust and confidence is eroded, which translates into a house that is in disorder, with members having little to no regard for the standing orders and required decorum that should guide our discourse." End quote. On the issue of standing orders, this is what Barrow shared outside the House on Friday.
If you want to amend the standing orders, that is something that we should discuss. If you want to seek clarification, if you want to expand the rights of the Speaker outside of the Honorable House, you want to contemplate that, then do so. But don't try to make it up as you go along and now want to govern the conduct of members outside the Honorable House. And I make absolutely no apologies for calling out the Speaker's actions. Thank you.
The about face, nonetheless, is, quote, "for a reset between the office of the Speaker and the office of the Leader and his opposition members, so we can conduct the business of the People's House in an orderly manner that brings maximum benefit to the people we serve," end quote. Reporting for News 5, I am Isani Cayetano.
Earlier today, opposition leader Barrow wrote to the chair of the Constitution and Foreign Affairs Committee requesting that an upcoming meeting of the working group on October 23rd be used to discuss, quote, "objectionable comments made by PM John Briseno to Honorable Tracy Panton on March 10th, 2023 in the Honorable House, as well as the comments made by Honorable Abelardo Mai to Honorable Tracy Panton on June 3rd, 2022 in the Honorable House. I pray this matter is treated with the same urgency as the recent report from this committee requesting an apology from a member for conduct that occurred outside the Honorable House," end quote. On Monday, the Ministry of Health and Wellness issued an advisory informing of counterfeit Tylenol being sold in various supermarkets across the country. The phony product bears batch number GS13790 with an expiration date of March 2024. To safeguard your health, shoppers are being advised to avoid purchasing the medication. Currently, the ministry is on a mission to remove as many of the bogus Tylenol off supermarket shelves. But how did these fake Tylenol get into the country, and were they sourced from individuals authorized to sell pharmaceuticals in Belize? We spoke with Crystal Samuj, the director of the Drug Inspectorate Unit. Here is what she told us.
This particular case, we actually received an alert. Someone was actually concerned. This is something that we encourage. We do encourage the public, if you feel that something is wrong, let us know so that we can start an investigation. So we received the alert. We went out. We conducted something known as surveillance, market surveillance. We went out. We got samples at the location where the medication was said to be found. And we collected it, and we were able to get the samples and confirm with Johnson & Johnson that that product is not their product. We are still very in the early stages of this investigation. As soon as we receive the confirmation, the first thing that we want to do is we want to go out there and remove it. That's the first priority. When we are satisfied that we have removed what is available on the market, then we're going to sit down and we're going to say, look at the quantities that was available in each district and so on. In this case, we're trying to track down the source. What we know is that we have not found the batch in what we call our importation database, which is a database that includes all the medication that have received an importation permit from the Ministry of Health and Wellness. We have not seen this batch in our importation database, so it likely means then that it came in illegally, and that's something that we're trying to determine who exactly is bringing it in and how is it that they are bringing it in.
According to Dr. Samuj, several persons have reported investing in the counterfeit Tylenol products. Those individuals, however, did not report experiencing any adverse effects. Notwithstanding their experiences, fake pharmaceuticals present a national health crisis and put the population at risk. That is why Dr. Samuj says the Ministry of Health is looking at what penalties can be levied against individuals supplying these imitation drugs to grocery stores. She noted that store owners may be lured into making a purchase because the items often cost significantly less.
So based on what we are observing when we're actually going out into the supermarkets and removing the medication is that the merchants are saying that they could not recognize the medication as a falsified medication. We're trying to figure out where it is that they're purchasing the medication from. And it appears that it's not from any of the licensed drug distributors in the country. And it seems to be a salesperson who came around once and they have not seen that person again. That's the information that we're gathering. We encourage everyone, whether it's a patient or a consumer, whether it's a merchant, shopkeeper, we ask persons to please ensure that they purchase medications only from licensed distributors or from licensed facilities, right? When we issue a license from the Ministry of Health and Wellness, it means that we would have taken steps to ensure that the products that they offer or the services that they offer are of quality, right? When someone is purchasing a contraband medication, a medication that is too good to be true because of the price, purchasing from a random stranger that they don't know, comes around once or twice, you know, the quality of that medication is not guaranteed. It's a very, very dangerous practice for persons to be getting medication and medical supplies from unauthorized and unlicensed distributors. At this time, we are in discussion, and it's something we're looking at to see if, after we have tracked down the source, what charges can be brought to these persons.
It's been almost a year since bus operators were given a deadline to upgrade their fleet of buses. December 2023 will complete that year after the bus operators had met with the Ministry of Transport to ask for more time. They had cited a number of problems that they were having, including the inaccessibility to adequate financing. The time was extended to December of this year, and today the problems still seem to persist. News 5's Marian Ali spoke with Belize Bus Association Secretary Ewart Metzkin and Minister of Transport Rodwell Ferguson to find out how the problems could be resolved. The bus operators say they need more time, while the minister says change has to happen. Here's that report.
Last year, December, we told the operators that you must upgrade 50% of your fleet by December 2022. I must say here that I did not see much changes. I try to be very pragmatic, and I'm in this position now for basically 3 years. And I really don't want to leave this position and then I don't see any changes happen. And so just last month, I asked the acting chief transport officer to write each operator across the country to remind them that December 2023 is almost here.
Along with that reminder is the implementation of a vehicle and bus inspection project countrywide. It began on Monday in Punta Gorda and will conclude in Corozal. Upon the completion of that project, the Transport Board and the Minister of Transport will decide what course of action will be taken.
We can't say we eliminate all of them immediately, but gradually we'll look at the worst one and say, you know what, it's time for us to make a start and figure out we can improve our bus standards in this country. We even reduce the bus standards for them. I don't have it on me right now, but it's less strenuous than original that we had planned. So we are saying that you can have a bus from 2005 above based on a certain amount of years you have, then you get your service based on that.
But many of the bus operators are still having challenges with upgrading their fleet of buses. Today, Secretary of the Belize Bus Association, Ewart Metzkin, told News 5 that the late model buses use a different type of fuel for efficiency, but that type of petrol is not available in Belize.
Whenever you jump 2007, 2008 models bringing in these buses from the States, they have an EGR system on them which controls the emission, the exhaust, no? And they use a special type of fuel, a fuel that we don't sell here in Belize. So that is a problem with any bus. Anybody who wants to bring in these upgraded buses, first of all, the government will have to start bringing the fuel to the bus lane so that the bus can cooperate. That's the type of fuel we have right now. The buses are not run. When they have problems, and you'd have to delete out the EGR settings in the computer for them to run on the type of fuel that we have here, and that costs between $5,000 and $6,000. So we try that per bus.
Metzkin says that bus operators are also facing problems getting financial assistance at this time because their request to have a bank representative on the transport board has still not been honored.
They had agreed in words that they would have had one of the persons from the banking industry sit on the transport board. That's over 6 months ago. And it's neither here nor there with that. We've not heard back anything from them, from the minister himself about that. Okay. And for us to make any headway with these lending institutions, I mean, they need to protect whatever investment they'll be making in the industry.
But Ferguson differed with Metzkin on that point.
I don't think that is the issue. Once they start the process, then we'll have a good relationship with the bank, and we will decide then if the bank should have a representation on the board. But we can have the bank have representation before they decide to start the process, because we don't know if they want to actually get a loan from the bank.
Ferguson said that operators have not requested a meeting with the ministry recently, but that there should be one planned shortly to discuss the strides that have been made. Meanwhile, Metzkin says that bus operators will meet in Borrelboom Village on Sunday at 10:30 to decide on a subsequent course of action. Reporting for News 5, I'm Marion Ali.
After the break, Belize rejects latest EU designation on tax havens. We'll tell you about that, but first, here's a weather update with data from the Belize Met Service.
Babe, have you seen the advisory that NEMA just posted? There's going to be a storm.
Storm? It's not a storm. That's just a little rain. We'll be all right.
Thank goodness that was only a simulation. But what if it wasn't? Consider this. You've worked hard building your future, your family, your business, your home. RF&G Insurance has policy options that can protect your most valued assets so that you can focus on what matters most. Include RF&G Insurance in your hurricane prep. Remember, it pays to get it right with RF&G Insurance, a Road Group company.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited postpaid plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart. It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
The ancient Maya sport of puck-ta-puck has been revived in modern times as a game that is played for entertainment before a diverse fan base. Since the beginning of October, puck-ta-puck matches have been hosted twice in locations across the country. In commemoration of Indigenous Peoples Resistance Day, the game was played at the Santa Rita Archaeological Site in Corozal District. More recently, a presentation of puck-ta-puck was made at the House of Culture here in Belize City to coincide with the annular solar eclipse. In tonight's episode of Culture Tuesday, we revisit an award-winning feature story on puck-ta-puck and its cultural significance to the Maya people of Belize. Here's that story from News 5's Hipólito Novello.
More than 1,000 years ago, in the ancient Mayan civilization, across the Mesoamerican region, there was a ball game like no other. Puck-ta-puck. Thought to be only a part of history, this ancient Mayan ball game lives on in Belize through the young men of Ek Balam or Black Jaguars in Yo Creek village, where the past meets the present.
It's a game played by our ancestors long, long ago, before 1492. And we have proof of it because we have the ball courts at Lamanay, we have them at Shunantunich, Cajalpech, different Mayan sites. We have the ball court where this game was played by my ancestors, the Mayas.
Equipped with only a piece of traditional clothing around their waists, their determination to best their opponents, and the knowledge of the game, these warriors in ancient times are cleansed by a Mayan priest who also honors the four corners, the heavens, the gods, and Mother Nature. In the time of ancient Mayan centers like Pacbetun and Shunantunich, puck-ta-puck was a ball game used to settle disputes among warring groups, resulting in certain death.
Some history books say that it's the captain of the winning team. Others say it's the losing team. But most probably we believe it's the captain of the winning team. And you would say nobody would want to play this game or nobody would want to win because they know that they will be offered as a sacrifice. But at that time it was an honor to be offered as a sacrifice to the gods.
Fortunately for these players, changing times came with changing practices and beliefs. The most they would suffer will be a bruised ego if they lose, or bruises to the abdomen or even broken ribs if they miss the ball with their hips. Weighing almost 8 pounds, the ball is made of pure rubber.
And so it is very, very challenging to work with a ball because if this hits your rib, it could damage your ribs, right, and other organs inside. So we try to keep it within the hip area, no? So that's one of the biggest challenges of this game, no? You have to be in good conditions too to go down and come up quickly so you could defend your side of the court, no?
The players of each team are allowed to hit the ball with their hips once, hoping their opponents commit a fault in order to gain points.
The rules of the game is that you can only hit the ball with your hips, this part here. If you touch it with any other part of the body, then you lose points, and the points that you lose is given to the next team because in those times the Mayas used to add, subtract and add points according to the record. No? If the ball touches your hand, then you lose a point, or your chest or your back. You lose 1 point, it's given to the next team. If the ball touches your leg, then you lose 2 points, it's given to the next team. And if you press the ball with your buttocks on the ground, then that's the worst foul that you can commit. You lose 3 points, and it's given to the next team. Also, you make points by passing the ball across the backcourt of the next team, then you get 5 points. It's called a raya, and that's how we can add the points, and at the end of the game, you know who is the winner.
Each team has 4 players. The game is played in 2 rounds of 20 minutes each. At the end of the game, the winner is announced and no one dies. Usually after matches, the players are also tasked in getting the ball through the hoop using their hips only. Dieter Novello is the captain of Ek Balam, as signified by the markings on his face.
Timing is very essential, because sometimes when you don't time the ball properly, it can hit you like very bad. Sometimes it could hit your hips, sometimes it hits your legs, and then it stays all marked up and it is very painful. So I guess timing is one of the most difficult things.
Before any match, what do you tell yourself? How do you become mentally prepared?
Well, I guess I just say, I want to be the best. I've trained so hard for this, and we've been through a lot of struggles as a team, and I have tried very hard for this, and I don't want to end up like a loser or anything, so I try to give my best at all times.
For Ek Balam, their journey began 3 years ago. In 2015, that journey led them to Chichen Itza, Mexico, to compete in the first of its kind Mundo Maya puck-to-puck competition. With only 2 months of training, the group placed 3rd. Ek Balam later traveled to Teotihuacan, Mexico, where they bested their home team. In 2017, Ek Balam defeated all the Mundo Maya teams in the 2nd annual puck-to-puck World Cup tournament in Guatemala.
It was very challenging because at that time we only had, I think it was 6 players we took, and 1 of them got hurt. And then we only stayed up with 5 players, 4 of them in the field, and 1 of them just for a change. So that was very difficult for us because the other teams, especially, they had quite an amount of players and they had 2 teams. Belize only took 1 team.
Some people thought that I was crazy, but then crazy people do interesting things. Whenever you have a passion for something, you really want something, the universe will conspire with you to make it happen. The seed has been planted, it is growing, it is flowering. In Rio Creek we have 2 teams, and I am so proud of the 2 teams. So right now, Ek Balam is the champion of the Mundo Maya in puck-to-puck.
Ek Balam will defend its title at the 3rd annual puck-to-puck World Cup in El Salvador in 2019. Reporting for News 5, Hipólito Novello.
The Briceño administration has rejected a recent European Union designation which places Belize on a list of non-cooperative jurisdictions for tax purposes. The list, which has been adopted by the EU Council, was updated earlier today by European finance ministers, who also added Antigua and Barbuda, Seychelles, to the blacklist. They also removed the British Virgin Islands, Costa Rica, and the Marshall Islands from the list. The EU's rationale is that Belize was assigned a partially compliant rating in the peer review of its compliance with the International Standard on Exchange of Information request published by the Global Forum on Tax Transparency and Exchange of Information back in July. In rejecting the false designation, the government of Belize says that the automatic listing on the Annex 1 list is unjust and procedurally unfair, which leads to erroneous conclusions being drawn about the country's commitment to work with its global partners in establishing a modern and fair international tax framework. The statement from the Ministry of Finance goes on to say that the EU failed to engage Belize on this matter prior to taking its decision. On Monday, Minister of State Chris Koyi held a press conference to apprise the media of developments arising from a round of meetings held with the World Bank Group, including the likelihood of Belize being able to access concessionary loans through the International Investment Association. Here's more from that discussion.
It's the development arm of the World Bank Group. its resources are primarily used for the very low-income countries. The way that they determine who becomes eligible for IDA is by way of an income per capita threshold. So countries that are below that threshold, they become eligible. Countries that are above that threshold are not eligible. Once again, in terms of that type of finance, that's extremely concessionary. Quite a bit of it actually are grants, but you also have the loans or the concessionary loans. You're talking about 1% or less than 1% because those are tied to the SDR rate, the rate on special drawing rights. And on top, those are 40-year loans. So once again, those are development loans, but now there's a transformation of the World Bank that's ongoing, that's looking at climate. I think their new vision is to free the world of poverty on a livable planet.
According to Senator Koyi, the Briceño administration is exploring the possibility of being allowed to access funding through a small island economy exception. He explains the primary criteria that Belize needs to meet in order to be considered.
In looking at IDA resources, certainly it would have been something that we would benefit from if we had access to it. But based on our threshold, of our income per capita, basically saying we're too rich to access that. However, there is an exception. It's called the Small Island Economy Exception. And that exception has certain criteria to be able to fit in with that exception. So once you come in that exception, you become eligible for IDA funds. Principally or essentially, the exception or the criteria to meet that exception is vulnerability in debt and vulnerability in climate. Belize not having even really any external commercial debt clearly has a fragility in terms of access to debt on the external commercial markets. So we meet that criteria. In fact, the World Bank management thinks, in their view, that we fully meet the criteria of both debt and obviously climate vulnerability. Belize is ranked 8 out of 167 countries as far as climate risk is concerned. I think we have a risk of a hurricane, a 46.6% risk of a hurricane every year.
When we return, Social Protection Summit in Belize to establish national strategy.
At times, life can become full of challenges and feel overwhelming. Conditions such as depression, anxiety, substance dependence, and a family history of suicide or previous suicide attempts are also factors that may contribute to suicide. A suicidal person may experience feelings of hopelessness, worthlessness, emptiness, and being a burden to family and friends. They feel like they have exhausted all their options and there is no way out. Suicidal people do not truly want to die, but see it as the only option to end the unbearable pain they are in. If you or someone you know needs help, contact us at phone number 828-5992, or you can visit your nearest hospital and ask to speak with a mental health nurse. Services are available countrywide.
Inspection first. Once the inspection passes, we do the collection for you.
our teams at BEL continue to serve you.
Shop smart for your Samsung devices in Belize and enjoy benefits you won't get anywhere else. When you shop locally for your Samsung, all your devices will be covered by a 1-year local warranty. You won't get that when shopping with the other guys. When in doubt, always look for the Cellular World seal to know you're getting the real deal. Shop with confidence and enjoy your Galaxy knowing that it can be repaired locally at our Samsung Service Center by certified Samsung technicians using original parts and machinery. Even better, enjoy the best LTE experience in Belize, knowing that your Samsung devices are compatible with major local carrier networks. Get the ultimate Samsung Galaxy experience only when you shop from authorized Samsung resellers nationwide.
Taking its name from the venerable father of the nation, the George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benqueviejo. Originally built in the 1930s, this cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, the George Price Highway, from Roaring Creek to Esperanza, has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, it means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times, and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
Poverty has an adverse effect on the well-being of over 50% of Belize's population. To address the scourge of poverty, the government of Belize is seeking to strengthen its national social protection system through the implementation of a social protection strategy. Several entities have combined efforts to organize the country's first social protection summit. The event will be used as a platform for discussions towards developing the national strategy. The end goal of the strategy is to reduce deprivation and improve the lives of all Belizeans. News 5's Paul Lopez reports.
HelpAge Belize has been serving the elderly for the past 4 decades to aid in the challenges associated with aging. Today, chairman of the non-governmental organization, Evan Dakers, is attending the Belize Social Protection Summit 2023 in Belize City.
I think a summit like this definitely is very important for an organization such as ours. Some of the challenges, I will just mention 1 or 2. The first one that comes to mind is, of course, income insecurity. We have a number of elderly persons who, for no fault of their own, are not getting any type of pension. Now, some of these people have not been able to get the benefits because their employers did not contribute towards the Social Security scheme. And in some cases, maybe at the time when they were working, there wasn't any scheme.
Dakers also noted that access to affordable and quality medications is a prevalent issue among elderly persons in Belize. The 4-day summit was organized to bring various stakeholders together for the creation of a national social protection strategy that will address these kinds of concerns. UNICEF Belize is one of the organizers of the summit. The social policy specialist at UNICEF Belize explained why a national social protection strategy is necessary in the country.
According to the Statistical Institute of Belize data, as of 2019, more than 50% of people were living in poverty, and it was especially high for children, among children. Around 60% of children aged 0 to 14 were living in poverty this time. And also, Statistical Institute of Belize has conducted multidimensional poverty index analysis in 2022, and according to this also analysis, people in Belize, including children, are deprived in many aspects, such as access to education, access to health, access to housing or living standards, and access to employment. So there are a lot of high level of poverty and deprivation in Belize. Therefore, social protection is very important in addressing poverty and deprivations in Belize.
According to the Minister of Human Development, Dolores Balderomas Garcia, the government of Belize has been doing its part to reduce poverty. She says the national strategy shows that her party is committed to leaving no one behind.
I'm delighted because I really believe that if our government, as we say we are, is committed to leaving no one behind, then we have to have that strategy. And it does take time to speak with partners to make sure that we can have that overall umbrella, as I like to call it. It's always a challenge for countries like ours, small, very vulnerable to external shocks. I think, though, that with Plan Belize, we're going in the right direction because we have the rollout of the national health insurance, we have the creation of jobs, we have various aspects that are continuing. The Ministry of Education has been doing an excellent job in terms of rolling out the STEAM Academy and non-traditional jobs like in the IT vets. So when you talk about all of these issues, you're talking about social protection because the more we can reduce poverty, the better we will be.
While the process to develop this national strategy is underway, the elderly population in Belize may be increasing in numbers. The last national population census revealed that the elderly make up fewer than 10% of Belizeans. Dacre says he believes that SIB's upcoming census report will reflect this increase. He also says that he is interested in hearing how the government plans to finance its strategy.
In terms of what is taking place here over the next couple of days, we are hoping that the partnership, because it's a partnership between government and private and NGO sector, that we can come up with some workable solutions that hopefully can be properly planned and most importantly financed. Because we can come up with all these beautiful plans and programs, but if they are not financed, it's of no use. No? Yeah. So I'm looking forward in particular to a presentation later today in which there's going to be a presentation from the government of Belize in terms of how they envisage the financing of some of these recommendations.
Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
The International Association of Chiefs of Police is holding its annual conference and expo in San Diego, California. And Commissioner of Police Chester Williams is in attendance. The IACP 2023 is described as the largest and most impactful law enforcement event of the year and convenes over 16,000 public safety professionals who learn new techniques, advance knowledge and careers, and equip their department for success. It's about training, networking, and education. And Compal Williams says he is fully engaged in the 4-day event. He shares with News 5 some of the immediate things that can be implemented in the department on his return.
We get to see many presentations in respect to law enforcement. There was some very interesting one that deals with the whole issue of recruitment of police officers. There were presentations that deals with police officers' mental health. There were operational effective presentations, intelligence presentations, and so I partook in many of these different presentations with a view to see how I can look at best practices that are being employed by other police organizations, as well as presentations from experts in the respective fields who delivered on the different subject matters relevant to policing. And in addition to that, there is also a number of exhibitions being done by different organizations that would sell or engage in the selling of equipment. For example, you would have those persons who are engaged in the whole surveillance camera system, the software that goes with it, persons that deal with the whole issue of crime management system using different tools and software. We have firearms, we have drones, we have vehicles, we have whatever you could think about in the area of security is here at the conference being advertised. And so since we're having the ACCP conference next year in Belize, I'm also using the opportunity to invite some of these exhibitors to come to Belize next year. To come to Belize next year and be a part of the ACCP conference as exhibitors. If we can get that, then I think that it will give the Belizean people an appreciation of what tools are available for policing, and not just for police, but for security in a whole, because persons who are engaged in the security industry, like security companies, can also benefit from what is being exhibited at these conferences.
Compal Williams says he returned to the country on Saturday. During his absence, Deputy Commissioner of Police Aaron Guzman will be acting as Commissioner of Police. There was a brief meeting today at the Marion Jones Sporting Complex between visiting youth from Korea and officials of the Ministry of Sports. The youth are in Belize on a cultural exchange program with their Belizean peers. They have planned a day of activities in Belize City and tours across the country before they depart next week. It's all part of an effort to have Belizean youth share their culture with other youth from abroad. Today, News 5 spoke with Minister of Youth Rodwell Ferguson about the exchange.
I made contact with them sometime last year through Mr. Jeremy, who is originally from Jamaica, but he's the country director for International Youth Fellowship. It's a Christian organization, and what they do every year, they travel around the world to assist or to meet new people and to understand and engage in their culture. And then I was able to visit the headquarters last year, where there's a grand finale where all young people from around the world, maybe 3,000 of them, come and have a big fellowship together. So it's a very wonderful idea. I'm hopeful that one of these days, Belizean students can go likewise to Korea. Because the cost is so expensive, we have to plan long in advance to figure out how we can send a team of young people to Korea.
Up next, House meetings to be held elsewhere while renovations of the National Assembly building are underway.
Everything is better electric. Be more efficient with electric vehicles and transforming your home with Energy Star electric appliances and power tools. This helps to create a greener and cleaner world for the next generation. Energize your world with BEL.
Get ready, babe. We're going on a vacation.
Finally, where are we going?
Don't worry, babe. I have we covered.
Are you sure you know where we're going?
Yes, babe. Oh, right there, see? Babe, the price me too good to be true. Me look much more better in that picture.
When life throws you a curveball, Belize Bank has your back. With our online financing, you can turn any vacation mishap into a dream getaway.
Cheers to Belize Bank for making our dream vacation a reality.
Thanks to you, babes, to turn things around.
No thanks to you, cheapo.
Ouch.
Experience the future of financing with Belize Bank online, where you can secure funds for anything, from anywhere, at any time, all without stepping foot in a bank. Apply for a loan today and unlock a world of possibilities.
What happened here? Nothing. See the garbage, sir? See the garbage? You just take the garbage and dash it over and take it back and ride. What you talk about? You just do the same thing right there? Yes, but the young lady made tell me about how important it is to keep the country clean. You should have stay right there for get educated. I don't know they have education. All right. Hold it on, gentlemen. Thank you very much. Come this side, please. The Department of Environment. I saw what happened just now, and the gentleman is right. You threw your garbage on the roadside, and you took your bicycle, and you rode away. What you have just done is an environmental offense, and for that, I will give you a littering ticket.
Sir, why you only ticket this man 100? Why you not find more than that?
Littering carries a fine of $100 per person. However, if it is a company, it is $500. What this gentleman just did is dumping, and dumping carries a heavier fine. But because it is a first-time offense, I made a decision to give him a $100 ticket. I just want to take this opportunity to let the public know to put their garbage in the proper place, or else they will get ticketed.
All right, thanks for the 5 cents, brother.
Why make us stop being nasty and stop dirty with countrymen? You say that's all of them garbage on the roadside, then I didn't think me have to come weekend and pick up the garbage.
This message is brought to you by the Department of the Environment.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart. It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
October 9th marked the 53rd anniversary of the inauguration of the National Assembly building. The building has seen many people pass through its doors, from past parliamentarians to the late Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip. More recently, the president of Taiwan, Tsai Ing-wen, also visited the building. Now, Taiwan has graciously offered to fund the cost of retrofitting and upgrading the building, to be carried out by the Ministry of Infrastructure Development and Housing. The formal handing over of the check will take place during the ceremony slated for November 7th, at which time the details of the work, implementation, and timeline will be shared. Today, News 5 spoke with project engineer at the Ministry of Infrastructure Development, Colin Escalante, about the scope of the work after Speaker of the House, Valerie Woods, shared the news of the upgrade at Friday's House sitting.
I am pleased to announce that we received the news that the grant request has been approved for $1,584,250 Belize dollars. This would be the first major renovation, and which I'm sure members the visiting public, the media, and invited guests will attest is much needed.
We're focusing on the architectural component and then the civil and site works component. So the architectural component will pretty much focus on improving the functionality of the National Assembly building. That includes all 3 floors, the ground floor, first floor, and the second floor. That would include rearranging office spaces, upgrading electrical and plumbing items, upgrading of windows and doors. We also will focus on upgrading the interior wall and floor finishes. We would like to focus on installing an elevator lift system, which would provide access to persons with disabilities. Looking at installing security systems, upgrading of the air conditioning system, and also looking at installing fire suppression systems. So that focuses on the architectural component of the project. When it comes to the civil and site works component, we are looking to construct parking spaces and access ways, as well as undertaking site drainage works.
Escalante says the work will take roughly 9 months to complete, from around the first or second week of December until the end of September of next year. And because the work will involve some degree of demolition, Escalante says another venue will have to be identified where house meetings will take place during the next 9-month period.
It's quite a bit of work, and it also entails some aspects of demolition. So what we are currently doing is we're working closely with personnel from the National Assembly to identify an alternative venue so that house meetings can be held, as well as to provide temporary office spaces for personnel from the National Assembly. Once we iron out the temporary venue for house meetings and office spaces for personnel, we move straight into the procurement phase to engage a contractor to undertake the works, and then we get straight into execution of the project.
On Monday, we brought you the story of an evangelical church in Unitedville that has become a nuisance to the residents of that community because of the loud sound the system they use during their service. According to Marlene de la Fuente, an environmental officer with the Department of the Environment, the law governing noise pollution differs from churches to clubs and night spots and residents who play loud music. And while De La Fuente says the best way to solve a dispute over noise pollution is amicably, there are set measures in place that environmental officers abide by, including the use of decibel meters to measure the level of the noise being produced.
You go in, you do the inspection, you do the monitoring. If they're above the threshold, you sit and speak to them about the law. You sit and speak to them about what measures can be done or put in place to reduce the noise leaving the establishment or the building and affecting the neighborhood. In our regulation, we have the noise abatement pollution. That piece of legislation established limits of equipment, the noise level of different equipment can emit into the environment. So it sets a threshold depending on what kind of establishment it is, and based on whether it's day or night.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available at channel5police.com, on our Facebook and on YouTube. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us. And from all of us here at News 5, good night.